to know, the Apple event is finally over. We have the iPhone 3 models. I still don't understand their naming, but whatever, Apple. I'm going to be honest, guys. This event, I'm kind of disappointed. I think this is an event that's taught me one thing. Don't set your expectations high with Apple, because they will tear them down. But for this one, I was only expecting the iPhone and the Apple Watch, like I was saying. But we didn't get anything other than that. They only unveiled 2 things. And the thing that's disappointing about that is, technically Apple last year, if I remember correctly, they did the Apple Watch, the iPhone, and I believe the Apple TV. I mean, okay, Apple TV obviously needed an update, but it was at least a 3rd product in there. There was no big product. There was only 2 products. Like, they dedicated that event only to the Apple Watch and the iPhone, which to me, I mean, it's all understandable, because if they want to move the iPad and the Macs, if they want to move those things over to maybe another event solely on those, then that's fine. But this event, we were expecting a little more. Well, I wouldn't say we, but I would say I was expecting a little bit more, especially on that AirPower Mat, the AirPods, or anything, but we only got 2 things, and then a couple of software updates notifying us when they'll be coming out. Thankfully, we have the release dates, so I can remove the beta profile. But anyway, let's get right into it. So the first thing up on the list is the Apple Watch. So the Apple Watch Series 4, this is a perfect example of what I like to call wait a long time and that wait will pay off. I waited since the first Apple Watch came out for a new design. I hated that design. I'm being honest with you guys. I hated the Series 1, 2, and 3 design. The Series 4 watch is amazing. It's got a nice finish. It's got more screen, even though it's the same size. You get to see more on the display. You're able to get more out of it. And on top of that, if you want to buy the Apple Watch Series 3, which is still a very good watch, they lower the price. So this is why I always tell people, sometimes you're better off waiting, and then that wait will pay off. Well, so much for the wait, because let's get into it. So the Apple Watch Series 4 has a lot of more features going. It has a brand new design, which I really, really like. I really like that design. It has new speakers. It was completely redesigned. The heart sensor is redesigned. It has the Chrome, the digital Chrome, that you put your finger where you tap it. It uses as a scanner. It scans your heart, which is very, very advanced. It just they said that the FDA approved it, so that was the first for any device, which is really incredible if you think about it. The design, once again, is amazing. It's curved. It goes edge to edge. And on top of that, it gives you enough display, and for the most part, it looks amazing. And the bands are also backwards compatible, so people don't have to worry about that. But moving on, for the internals, we get the S4, which is made of all ceram. I believe that's what they said. And everything inside gets an upgrade. They've got the S4, which is a 64-bit chip. Now, that means a big, big breakthrough, because the 64 bits chip that's in there is literally the best, I think, you can go. It just makes the Apple Watch much more faster and reliable. So you've already got a lot of upgrades going into this thing. So if you never owned an Apple Watch, or you never had the chance to get one, or if you have an Apple Watch Series 1 or 2, now is the time to get it. Because I think this is the perfect time of what I like to call, you wait a long time and and then the wait pays off. Well, however, Apple being, you were always hoping that Apple would give us a little price reduction. Well, that's like waiting for fucking God to come down. That's never gonna happen. But to be fair, the prices are pretty reasonable. They got $399 for the GPS version, which is $429 if you go for the 44 millimeter, which isn't too bad. I guess I could let that slide, because it has a lot of things to make up for that price, especially if you waited so long. And if you don't want the Series 4, but you still want that kicky feeling of the Apple Watch, you could go for the Series 3, and that price actually goes down to $279, which I really actually like. However, they have removed a bunch of the Apple Watches. They removed Series 2, they removed Series 1, they removed the Apple Watch Edition, so that was pretty much just a faded experiment because nobody bought it. So, with that said, they still have the stainless steel edition, so if you guys want the stainless steel, go right ahead. But Apple Watch Series 3, you people, if you still want it, you can. There's nothing really bad about that at all. The Series 3, if anything, is still a great watch. So, if you want to get a budget one, go for that. That's what I'd recommend if you can afford the $399 mark. But for $300 for an Apple Watch, that's pretty reasonable, especially since the Apple Watch Series 3 is relatively about the same. The only really big difference is just that chip. But other than that, I think the Apple Watch justifies the $399 price point. I'm not talking about cellular, so that's why I'm skipping cellular, because I wouldn't use it for cellular. But if you want cellular, go right ahead. Next up is iPhone, and we got 3 iPhones. The iPhone XS, the iPhone XS, and XS Max, like we said before, and of course, the iPhone XR. Okay. First off, I can understand the XS part. I can get that. XS Max, and Apple tried to justify it by saying, what do you get when you make a device that has like something so much? That doesn't make any sense. Just call the iPhone XS Plus. That's what people are going to call it. I can't get that slur out. I can't call it the XS Max. No one's going to call it that. They can't even call it the 10 as it is. They call it X. Regardless, the XS is kind of a disappointment if you're an iPhone 10 user, because there isn't really a big significant change. Other than really the screen. The 5.8, look, I'm going to break it down, okay? Put it to you like this. The iPhone XS, 10s, the regular 10s, 5.8 inch, nothing big substantial. Maybe a few slim bezels here and there. You get a little more display, but nothing big significant. However, the 10s Max, yes, the 10s Max, at least with that, you get a bigger screen, and you also get a bigger battery life. That's very key. And also, that's about it. And also, advanced Face ID. I think you'll get improved Face ID. But the thing is this is kind of, I don't see this for users that have the iPhone 10 like myself. I don't see people like us jumping to get the iPhone XS. I'm really having a hard time calling this phone the 10. I keep calling it the X. That's really how it comes down to. But this isn't a big jump for iPhone users that have the iPhone 10. I wouldn't recommend upgrading it because, first of all, you're not getting anything big out of it. You're not getting substantial changes. The displays are practically the same. The only big one is the XS Max. But I'll talk about that in a sec. Other than that, the cameras are the same. They're saying you get a little more color and vibrancy. So you're really not getting anything with that 5.8 inch. Now, if you're an iPhone 10 user and you want the bigger screen, that's another story. But I still am against upgrading, and I'm going to tell you why after. Then we got the iPhone XR. This is the only one I've been able to call 10. This is the cheaper version that everyone was praying that Apple had made. This one is a liquid retina display, which is the most advanced LCD in the industry, which is what Apple claims. It's basically a cheaper version of the iPhone 10. So, look at it this way. If you can't afford the iPhone XS and the XS Max, if you can't afford any of those phones, but you have like an iPhone 7 or an 8, then this is the phone for you if you want that display. The good news with this is that it gives you a 6.1 inch display, which is, although it's LCD, you do get True Tone, you get Tap to Wake, you get all the features in the iPhone 10 in this here. So in reality, it's kind of like a step up. So not really a step down, but I wouldn't say it's something big or small. But anyway, you also get the A12 Bionic Chip, which is, again, being marketed as the most powerful smartphone chip ever. It is finally, I believe, an 8-core. Yes, it is an 8-core chip. Also, there's a stupid-ass thing on my face. But anyway, it has the neural engine, which is upgraded to I believe, 5 trillion operations per second. I mean, in geek terms, that's really fast. And it has 8 cores. So 6 GPUs and 4 GPUs, so that's 10 total with the GPU score. and they showed off what it can do, but main thing everyone wants to know about, price. Oh, remember I told you how asking Apple for a little closure? Well, like I said, it's just like waiting for God to come down. It ain't happening, guys. Because look, the only phone that is a reasonable investment at this point is the iPhone XR and the iPhone 8. The iPhone 8 got a price reduction. So let's take a look at the price reduction. Even though it has a home button, you're still going to get a good display. And the price is at $599 and for the 4.7 inch, and you get the 5.5 inch for $699, which is still reasonable for the iPhone 8 Plus anyway. They took off the product red, so if you're hoping to get product red, too late. But fear not, the iPhone XR does come with a product red version. So finally, Apple ships a product red iPhone on a launch. Finally, we don't have to freaking wait. But anyway, the prices though are actually pretty reasonable for the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus. But with the iPhone XR, you're better off getting that instead of if you have an older phone, because the price for these are very reasonable. And they come in so many different colors. Think of it like this generation's version of the iPhone 5C. You have the white, black, blue, yellow, coral, and product red. Those are some awesome colors. Now, there are only 6 here. They were saying there was supposed to be 9, but I don't see 9 happening in the lineup. But you do get a nice variety of colors, and if you want the phone, which is definitely not a bad investment, the price for the phone, if you wanted any one of them, starting price is $749. And then if you want 128 gigabytes, you go to $799. And if you want the 256, you go to $899. So you're still not breaking the bank. You're actually still getting a little bit more. And you'll still get that iPhone X experience, but with an LCD screen, but you really won't even notice the difference. Because look, average consumers are going to work like this. They see the iPhone XS and the XS Max. They're going to look at those phones and say, too expensive. When they hold this phone and the 10 side by side, they're not going to see any big difference. They're going to say, oh, it's the same phone. So they're going to take the one that's cheaper. So Apple basically gave you an alternative if you can't afford the iPhone XS and the XS Max. However, the XS and the XS Max, oh Apple, why do you do this? They priced the iPhone XS. Starting price for the XS is like the iPhone X from last year. Starting price is $999. And the iPhone XS Max, I'm just going to go on record and say, if any of you buy, or if any of you have the money for this phone, the XS Max, if you have the money for this phone, think very carefully before you buy this phone. Because the price, and also don't ignore that, the price starting is $1,099. And if you get the 512 gigabytes, that's $1,500 for an iPhone. Well, congratulations, Apple. You have not only once again proven that you don't give a fuck, but you've also proven that you have a smart way of compromising. So, overall, what did I think of this conference? And also, wait, before we go any further, there is one more thing that I forgot to tell you. HomePod is getting an update. Now, they did mention that the HomePod, they didn't mention any new HomePod speaker. That's very good, because I was really hoping that they didn't do that. But anyway, there will be an updates feature in iOS 12, which will be coming. You will be able to make phone calls. Thank God you can make phone calls over the HomePod. And then there are a few other things here and there, but that's the main one that I have been asking for such a long-ass time. So I'm actually happy about that. But anyway, finally they released the update of macOS Mojave. iOS 12 comes out Monday, watchOS comes out Monday, tvOS comes out Monday, but macOS Mojave, I believe, comes out a little bit later. So I'm going to pull it up right fast, and then I'm going to give my final thoughts, because this is a long-ass video. This is coming out September 24th, so I can't wait for Mojave. But overall, what did I think of this event? Well, again, I was a little disappointed. But the Apple Watch definitely gave me some good expectations if I was to buy one right away. However, with the iPhone XS and the XS Max, I'm really, really shocked. Apple basically didn't have anything new for these phones. There's no significant difference in the 10 and the XS. The only big difference is the XS Max. That's the only big difference, because it's a bigger screen and you get better resolution for that. But beyond a big screen, beyond anything, they're the same phone. There's nothing new about them. The only thing new, again, is just that screen and speakers, and that's about it. Everything else is pretty much on par. There's nothing new going on here. I'm sorry, guys, but if you were to come to me, and if you had an iPhone 10, and you wanted to upgrade to the iPhone XS, I would say simply no, because first of all, there's no big significant difference to make you want to switch. What, a new chip and shit? Bro, the phone you have now is going to last you a long time. I'm sticking with it. I have no intentions of going to the XS or the XS Max. Even the Max, a 6.5-inch phone, that'd be great, but I'm not getting it right away. There's no big difference for me to go out and spend that $1,000 on that phone. Number 2, the pricing. Apple, why couldn't you have priced? Why couldn't you have priced the iPhone XS at $899 and then price the 10 Plus, or the XS Plus, oh my god, the XS Max, why couldn't you have priced that at $999? Why couldn't you have did that? And honestly, I would be sitting here bashing Apple right now for that, because I'm really upset at Apple for doing this. They think it's justifiable to spend that much money on a phone. But thankfully, Apple came up with a solution. They basically came up with a compromise. If you can't afford it, we have a budget phone, the XR. So, in a way, Apple kind of redeemed themselves in a way. I mean, with the XR, you get one camera, and the other one, you get two cameras. But honestly, people are going to get that one. Mark my words. The iPhone XR is going to sell more than the XS and the XS Max, for the sole fact that it is cheaper, has more colors, and has way more features than the 7, 8, and 8 Plus. If you have an iPhone 10, again, don't upgrade. Stick with what you have, give it a little bit, then upgrade. But other than that, if you want the big screen, then get the XS Max. But honestly, it's a waste of money. There's no big significant difference in the XS Max other than that screen. And if you're buying it just for the screen, then I'm sorry, man, but you really don't know the value of money if you're willing to drop $1,100 on an iPhone. So, kudos to you. But that's it. I really hoped Apple had given us more with the AirPods and the AirPower. I'll be covering the AirPower later, because apparently there's a conspiracy theory going around that Apple's trying to erase the AirPower mat. But that's going to do it. That's my reaction and thoughts. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know, what did you think of the Apple event? Did you guys enjoy? What do you think of the XR, the XS Max? Let me know down below. Even the Apple Watch Series 4. I want to know. Thanks for watching, and peace.
Tell me pretty lies.